Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome. Finish up your conversations. Hug that last person you got to get a hug in before the service starts. Those are all important things. And once we're settled, we're going to sing together this morning to officially begin the service. And we're going to start on page 26 in your songbooks with "You Are the Light." Page 26. We sing it through 3 times. One with me, one with you, and one with us. Page 26. There is a light that fills my soul with gladness. There is a light that takes away all fear. There is a light that knows all hope, all happiness. That light lives in me. I am the light. There is a light that fills my soul with gladness. There is a light that takes away all fear. There is a light that knows all hope, all happiness. That light lives in you. You are the light. There is a light that fills my soul with gladness. There is a light that takes away all fear. There is a light that knows all hope, all happiness. That light lives in us. We are the light. Come on up. You can stand right there. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amy, and Sam, and Jan, and Brian, and anyone else born in May, or anyone who was ever born at all. Happy birthday to you.
Wow, what a welcome.
Now it's your turn.
Thank you, and happy birthday to all you other May birthday people out there. My name is Amy Roberts. I'm on the Leadership Council, and wow, what an intro. I'm spinning. Thank you. It is my birthday.
We didn't just make that up.
And I want to welcome everyone who's here for today, and I want to welcome our speakers. And I just got off a flight from Europe. I got home at like 11 p.m. last night, so I'm super loopy. And I think I'm just going to jump right into our announcements, which is mainly the reason that I'm here. And I have extra announcements today. So if you guys haven't noticed, there is a lot happening. A lot socially, a lot with Light on the Mountains, a lot of amazing things. We have our new bulletin board in the social hall where you can sign up and find out about what activities are going on, so I really encourage you to check it out. Okay. After Sunday services, I think, as you know, we have our spiritual practitioners here to pray with you and work with you, but we also have them available for one-on-one support. And there's a notice that went out in the email this week that if you do want individualized support, you can offer to sign up. It's on a sliding scale. No one would ever be turned away. And the important message is you never have to walk alone, that our prayer practitioners are here to support you. And I really think it's a nice thing. I actually know someone recently who asked me, they wanted therapy and they wanted to sign up for somewhere. And you know that prayer therapy could be a good way to do it. So I'll encourage them to do that. We have many volunteer opportunities here to be a greeter. If you'd like to be interested to get on our greeter rotation, please see Nancy Canet. She's waving right there. And she has a sign up for that. And let's see, we talked about the bulletin board. All right, some other more practical things. We need to do a flower bed dig out. Nancy is also going to organize that. Did you want to say a word, Nancy, or you want to?
Well, you know, I love it when I walk into the church and on the way in, I just grab my phone.
Oh.
Do I?
Well, for the people on live stream, otherwise they get bored.
So, yeah, I had a couple things oh.
All the way to the mic. There you go.
God.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, imagine when you get up here and I sing at you.
That's right. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
On the way in, I came up with this idea yesterday that Bigwood came and hauled away all truckloads of branches and all kinds of things for us. And Bigwood does a lot for us. They plow us in the winter. They don't shovel our walk, so we always need volunteers for that in the winter. But they turn our sprinkler on, they fix our sprinkler. What else, you guys? Eric, tell me. Mow. Yeah, they do so much for us. So on the way in, I brought a box of brownie mix, and I caught Diana and Doug, and they said they would make brownies and take them over. Well, I don't know, I'd ask you to do that, but get them over to the employees of Bigwood.
Awesome.
Okay, and then the other thing is we're trying to get our flower beds weeded out in the front around the fountain. And we need a few people to help do that. Karen has always done this. She does a wonderful job, but she needs some help out there. There's a lot of weeds and edging. So Brian and Marianne have volunteered to head up that team. And Denise is coming, and we just need 2 or 3 more people. It'll go really fast. It's just the flower beds around. And so after the service, see Brian or Marianne, and you guys can coordinate a date that you could come. We have tools and things like that. So anyone interested that would love to volunteer, thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks.
Okay, and on one last plant-related note, we have in our social hall for later today, a seed library has been set up by Minot and the Wood River Seed Library. So there's lots of seeds there. If you have an interest, you can take seeds to plant in your garden. If you also want to package seeds, please see Minot. And if you have any seed-related questions, please see Minot. She's our seed library expert. Okay, some other amazing things. Starting in June, we're going to have yoga with Colleen. Yoga for the ageless grace. I think we all need that. It'll be on Wednesdays from 11 to 11:45 a.m. It's a gentle class, all levels, all possibilities, and it'll be a pay-as-you-come class, $20, and I believe it's here in the social hall. Does anyone know? Yes, I see heads nodding. Okay. Also this week, we're continuing our Everyday Enlightenment, the 12 Gateways Zoom class with Gayle, Reverend Gayle, about a book from Dan Millman. So if you're already signed up, that's an opportunity for you. And I think that's more than enough announcements. So we're going to go to our monthly affirmation, and if you'll read it along with me, it's in your flyer, and it's in red, and it's called May's Everyday Enlightenment Affirmation. I open myself to growth, wisdom, and transformation. Each day, I step more fully into the highest version of myself. All right. And I'm going to pass it on to our practitioner of the day.
Oh, right. Everybody gets something now.
Thank you. Hi, I am Sarah Gorm, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at Light in the Mountains, and I've been gone, and I can't tell you how great it is to be home. I'll try not to choke up. Okay. Let's just take this moment to center ourselves and be in deep gratitude. Deep gratitude for this place, this space, for each other, for our awareness and our knowing that the divine is ever present. It is ever present within us. It is all around us. It is what connects us. It is beyond our knowing and within our knowing. And we give thanks for this place, this space, for Reverend Gayle and her message, for RL and his wonderful music, for the Leadership Council, for the practitioners, and all those who make this place run and hum, for our kitchen staff and all those who participate in unseen ways. So together we give thanks, and together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
Excuse me. Oh. Better. Okay. Well, we are talking about trusting our intuition today. So, from what I've been told, in AA meetings, people introduce themselves with the line, "I am Bob, and I am an alcoholic." It's a claiming of one's issue and announces a willingness to reckon with that issue. So, since we are talking about trusting our intuition today, I'm going to start with, I am Sarah, and I am an intellectual. Now, I am not an intellectual like a Harvard professor. No, like the alcoholic who overuses and whose overuse and dependence on alcohol creates limitations in their lives, I think I often overuse and over-identify with my intellect, the analytical aspect of my brain, and that overuse creates limitations in how I interact with the world around me. And here's the thing. I don't think I'm alone in this. I think we've all been taught to greater or lesser degrees to trust the thinking brain and be skeptical of the knowing that arises from our hearts. And it limits all of us. Now, don't get me wrong, the analytical mind is a wonderful thing. Mine is paired up with a great curiosity that has greatly enriched my life. But there are other ways of knowing, of interacting with the limitless space we inhabit in this lifetime, both the seen and the unseen. I have been listening to a podcast series called The Telepathy Tapes, which I highly, highly recommend. And I find this series especially compelling because, though it covers a number of topics, all the topics point to a world that is much more expansive and honestly mind-bending than we have been led to believe is possible. Growing up, as we all have, in a culture that generally insists that the material stuff of the world is the only thing that is real. In one interview, an herbalist named David Winston comments on how in our culture we aren't trained from a young age to understand intuition, and how that has limited how we learn about and interact with the world we inhabit. He said, "Science is a way of learning. Intuition is a way of learning. Dreams are a way of learning. Communicating with plants and other parts of nature is a way of learning. Reading books is a way of learning, and none of them are better than the other, and I think they work especially well when you combine them and you don't shut yourself off to any avenue of learning." Now, I personally believe that humanity is on the path to a growth spurt in consciousness, where our collective understanding expands beyond the merely material. We all get to participate in this. In fact, since we are all one, we have no choice but to participate. And perhaps a good place for all of us to start might be in acknowledging and trusting our intuition. But intuition is just like any other muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it gets. So the way to get past mistrusting our intuition is to trust it. Trust that it is real and that it is for us. The cure for our hesitation is to stop hesitating. And the way we expand into infinite possibility is to remember that we are, in fact, always one with the infinite. We are, like Source itself, ever connected and ever limitless. And now, the divine, Mr. Earl Rousey.
Why, thank you, sir. Welcome back. Yay. Good morning, everyone. A thought of the day. So I opened the blog this week and saw the word intuition right away, and I was taken back to a memory of 30 years ago, or just about. And here's that story. My wonderful John and I were moving from Richmond, Virginia, to the Maryland suburbs of D.C. It was important at the time. I wouldn't do it again. I moved from there to here. I'm learning as we go. But we were on our way to Maryland in a gigantic U-Haul, because we were young enough that we still moved ourselves. And so that U-Haul was full of our lives. And we were on the DC Beltway, which now is impossible, and 30 years ago was pretty frightening as well. And it wasn't the craziest of traffic that I saw along the way, but it was not easy. And as we're driving, and there is this motorcycle in front of me, watching, checking. And John says, "Change lanes now." And he said it in a voice that I listened, and I moved to the right. And as I looked in my rear view mirror, I watched the motorcycle lay over on its side and spin, and the cyclist stand up and run to the side of the road. Now, had I not changed lanes, that story would have been radically different. And I would have been the vehicle behind him when the motorcycle flipped over to its side. And when I could speak again, which was a while after, I said, "How did you know? Did you see?" And he said, "I didn't see anything. I just knew." And I said then, whenever you just know about anything, will you tell me? You know, because what if he had said, I think that it would be a good idea if maybe you, well, by that time, the story would have already taken its awkward turn. So that process of trust is important. It is rich. It is challenging. You know, if nothing had happened, would he have felt silly that he told me to change lanes? I don't know. I'm glad I changed lanes. With a little bit of hope, we begin to discover. With a little bit of faith, we see over the hill. We will open before you. We begin to recover from all of the doubt that lays blocking your will. With a little bit of trust, we can go up the stair step. With a little bit of love, we learn to believe in ourselves as a spirit, become our own lover, and spiral above, where we can receive when we fall back to that dark place before this, and pull the covers over our spirit. I know, there's a light just beyond this, lighter and brighter, lighter and brighter. we can find ourselves moving with a little bit of truth. We release our blame. A shift in our mind, we create what we will be. Step up, decide what is all ours to claim. A shift in your mind can create what we will be. Now, step up. Come on over. Embrace. Go on an adventure with your wheels. And it's all ours to claim. You had to have music too.
Good morning. Good morning. You're beautiful. All right. I love that. Sarah, thank you so much. That was perfect. And your story, perfect. We are talking about trust your intuition. And I'm going to start off a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you where I'm going to trust my intuition, and we're going to veer off. And that's why Sarah, because she covered everything I would have said about intuition. So, yay. However, in the book, Dan Millman says, below everyday awareness is a shaman-like, childlike consciousness, weaver of dreams, keeper of instinct. Your subconscious holds keys to a treasure house of intuitive wisdom, clear sight, and untapped power. All you have to do is to look, listen, trust, pay attention to your dreams, feelings, instinct. If you don't trust your own inner senses, what can you trust? And then Ernest Holmes, of course, says, intuition is God. And remember, this was written in 1930, ladies. So evidently just in man, but no. Intuition is God in man, revealing to him the realities of being. And just as instinct guides the animal, so would intuition guide man if he would allow it to do so. That's in our Science of Mind textbook. And so I was thinking about intuition. I'd read the chapter, and it was a lot of, and I highly recommend if you have the book to read this chapter, because it gives you lots of ways to tap into your intuition if you don't already know how to do that. And your intuition is that still small voice from within that will speak to you, and sometimes it will speak and you'll go, my first marriage, my second marriage, don't do this. I'm going to go through with this. Oh yeah, that was a good idea. So have any of you had those where you didn't listen and you're like, oh, like if you hadn't listened, RL? Yeah. So my intuition this morning said, where does that intuition, that trust, live within you? And so how many of you yesterday did the float? If you did, please stand up.
Yay.
There were 22 of us. You can sit down now, thank you. You don't have to stand up through the whole service. There were 22 of us with 2 young children. And here's where intuition and trust came in for me. So Heidi picked me up in the morning, because here's the deal. When you have a right foot in a cast that's non-weight bearing, you're not driving yourself anywhere, just so you know. In case you took me a minute to figure that out for myself. So you have to depend on other people. That's not easy, right? To all of a sudden be like, oh, I just can't walk out the door and climb in the car and go somewhere. You have to depend on somebody to come and get you in the morning, to bring you here for meditation and for service, and to help you walk downstairs. And yesterday, Heidi and I went to look at I think they're called camas, the blue flowers, which are gorgeous. And I saw antelope for the first time, and I saw sand. Yes. And I'm taking pictures, and when I'm sending them to my husband, writing what they are so I won't forget when I get home what I saw. And so it was that we stopped to get shakes. Yes, I did have a root beer float for lunch, and yes, I had a milkshake for dinner. So stopped and got a shake. And as Heidi's ordering the milkshakes, I'm wheeling back to the restroom. And as I come around the corner, thinking that the restroom's going to be right down the hall, there's these 2 big steps. And there's a table full of 30 or 40-year-old men sitting there. And I turned around and said, "Excuse me, could you give a lady a hand?" And immediately, 3 of them jump up, right? These are things that I can't imagine myself doing. So let's get back to the float. So Heidi and I pull up in the car, and I'm looking at, we're not parked right next to the creek. What the, excuse my language, hell was Eric thinking that I was going to be able to get into a canoe? I can't even see the water. So I'm like, this isn't going to happen. And Eric walks up and I said, "I don't think so." He goes, "Trust me, it's going to be fine." Trust him. Now, Eric and I, fortunately, about a week ago, had a phone call with each other and realized that we really have that brother-sister relationship, so we've kind of adopted each other. So I was like, "Trust me." Okay, my big brother says, "Trust him." All right. I'm going to trust him. And then he found 2 people that are members of this community. Well, one's a member, and one, his wife has come. He's never been. His name's Tyler. And then Graham, if you've met Graham. And they did the fireman chair. And literally picked me up.
Send back up pictures of us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And video. Picked me up and carried me down, set me down. And anytime Eric called a meeting, of course, he'd said, "Come, we have to come and have our meeting around the princess, because she's not going anywhere." I don't know that he called me a princess. I called myself that, because I kind of felt like Cleopatra, right? Drop me on a board, let me sit there as they do the whole car jockeying thing. And then Eric's canoe is like over there. And I'm like, this is interesting. Okay, Gayle, so pick me up again. Got me in the canoe, got me in the water, floated down Silver Creek, which was gorgeous. Yes, anybody? It was cold. Yes, and we all bundled up, so the cold was not a big deal. Anybody, right? The last 2 minutes, and then having chocolate-covered strawberries, the wind really kicked up, and it was cold. But they drug the canoe with me in it. Took the canoe out of the creek and put it on dry land, lifted me out of the canoe, and then carried me up the hill and put me on the back of Eric's truck. Why do I share that with you? Because that's what this community is about. That's the word of mouth that you need to share in the Wood River Valley. That's why Sarah tears up when she comes back. She said on Friday, and I didn't ask permission, but I'm going to share anyway. She said if it wasn't for this community, she probably wouldn't come home from Mexico. Now, maybe that's true. Maybe she was exaggerating a little bit, and it doesn't matter. But it's that feeling of love and acceptance. And not every community has that. That's what I want you to know. That's what I want you to tell your friends. That's the intention that I want you when you're out and about and you get that intuitive you meet somebody intuitively, you think, they might really feel welcome and talk about this community. Because to me, yes, you can advertise. Yes, social media is wonderful. Our webpage, when it goes live, is really going to be fabulous. And I still believe nothing beats your heart telling another heart about this community and what it has to offer. Because I thought about, good Lord, I let 2 people I didn't know carry me, I don't even know how to judge distance, ways, and it's just that sense. And then sitting there and really getting to know Diana on a whole different level. Like we sat down on the board and I'm like, yeah, I know you. And she goes, yeah, I know you too. And then we started to talk and go, oh, now we know each other, right? That's why when you can go to some event, if you can go to the retreat, trust me, there are going to be more floats. If you can come, like Bob Howley's birthday. Hawley, sorry, not Howley. I looked at you, I thought you wanted to howl. You know, things like that are important. And that builds trust. That's what faith is all about. Kelly and I had, I love going, every time I come, Kelly and I go for coffee. And I treasure those moments because if you don't know Kelly, and Kiki, don't tell him I said this, he's a brainiac. I mean, he is. He's like Ernest Holmes. He's a ferocious reader and can talk to you about a wealth of things. And we always get into really deep discussions about consciousness and what that means. And what did Ernest Holmes mean when he said this? And that is another thing I love about this philosophy, is you don't have to believe everything Ernest Holmes read. You know, he said, read what I read, and then make up your own mind. Do what works for you. What I think is important and why we're doing the Everyday Enlightenment is it's more than just Sunday. It's how do you live your life day in and day out? Are you willing to, I think this morning, when I wrote my Rev Gayle wake-up call, I talked about, you know, aspen trees don't look at fir trees and go, nah, you're not pretty, right? What if we behaved more like nature? What if we just loved each other because that's why we're here? And I'm not talking about we have to hang with everybody on the planet. You don't have to like everybody. I'm talking about that deep love that regardless of who the person is, there too is the presence and the power of God in form. Because nobody gets to skip out on that. Nobody. And so to come from that heart, that's my intuition. That's what I wanted to share with you today, is you all have it. Every single one of you has that deep sense within you of knowingness that I can talk about, or Sarah can talk about, or our